Then when a man and a woman find a rare, true love, sometimes incredible things can happen. Like the story of Robert Shea and Janet Rule, and a love that transcended life itself. Everyone in Leesboro were charmed by the young lovers. And when they graduated, they were John Marshall High School's own special homegrown Romeo and Juliet.
For someone who is skeptical, I can tell you my story. For me, it was true because it happened.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does. Look. I love you forever. See?
That's sweet.
I mean it.
Thank you.
They were married, and their precious son, Ted, was born the following year.
You know, I just want you to know that I will never let you and Teddy down. I'll always love and protect you no matter what.
Almost from the moment he was born, there was an incredible bonding between Robert and Ted. But no one of this earth could have ever imagined how close. Robert's steady efforts and loyalties earned promotions and raises at a local lumber yard. But for him, that wasn't enough. He took specialized college courses and worked night after night at home perfecting his craft. He desperately wanted to be a commercial artist. Several times each year, Robert would travel to New York City. There he would make the rounds of advertising agencies and design firms, showing off his work, hoping for his big day. Robert was always looking for a way to ensure that Janet and Ted would never want for anything, and perhaps fate stepped into his plans in that spring. Some of Robert's designs had caught the eye of a major company and brought the opportunity for an interview in New York. The job meant a quantum leap for Robert to move closer to his sworn goal.
Welcome aboard, Robert. Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. I hope you have a long and rewarding association with us. Oh, I'm sure that I will. Take care. Yeah, you too.
Whatever else happened, Janet and Ted would now have financial security.
Janet, honey, I got the job. Yeah, it's finally happening. Anyway, I'll tell the birthday boy Daddy's coming home for his party right now. I'm leaving the airport as soon as I hang up. All right, I'll see you in 40 minutes. I love you. Bye.
At that moment, with a new job in hand, Robert Shea considered himself the happiest and luckiest man alive. But who can ever know when fortune will suddenly change? With neither malice nor forethought, with only sadness and tragedy, a life was snatched from a loving and devoted husband and an irreplaceable young father. The trauma of Robert's death left Janet devastated. But overlooking Ted's needs would only make things worse.
It's been almost 2 months now, Janet. You've got to take hold, no matter how it hurts. That little boy needs you.
I know, Dad. I just miss Robert so much. There was more than $6,000 in the bank after Robert's final check. Now we're down to $1,200. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Day by day, almost hour by hour, Janet willed herself back to life and its harsh realities.
How am I going to make payments on the house? I'll lose it. Robert. I need you. I need you so much.
Then, at the very bottom of her grief and loss, the forces of the miracle began gathering.
Daddy. Okay. See, Mommy? Daddy wants me to show you these drawings.
It is most important to remember that Ted was only 4 years old, that he had never been to school and could not read or write a single letter of the alphabet. What Ted had written bore a strong resemblance to the shorthand taught by Robert by his college buddy, Jack Knowles.
This is the shorthand that Robert and I used in school. But it doesn't seem to mean anything. It's just letters and these numbers, you know?
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Then, as Jack put the first letters and numbers up on the board, Janet could hardly believe what she saw.
It's Robert. In my yearbook. Don't you remember? That's what he wrote to me. I love you forever. Now there's a 2. He means me and Teddy.
Okay. Well, let's look at the rest.
Jack Knowles translated the remainder of the shorthand symbols into a puzzling series of letters and numbers.
Could BX mean box?
Box 1142. Did Robert have a post office box?
No. 34 ST. Could be street. But there isn't a 34th Street in town.
What about BK? Bank, maybe?
What about MD and TN? Maryland? Tennessee?
34th Street. What was that movie about 34th Street?
Miracle on 34th Street. That's in New York.
Jack immediately checked the business directory for New York.
Look at this. There's a Midtown Bank on 34th Street in Manhattan.
Safety deposit. Box 1142.
Jack Knowles put a call into the bank, but they would not release depositor information over the phone. The family all agreed to come up with the money for Janet to make the trip to New York.
Would you verify that this is your husband's signature, please?
There was no doubt the
Yes,
signature on the
that's it.
bank papers was
Thank you.
Robert's.
If you come around this way.
The safety deposit box had been rented during one of Robert's early trips to New York.
Would you like to step into this room?
There were bills in the box, and Janet's heart skipped a little. $925. It would take half that just to pay for the trip to New York. She was about to close the box when she saw the folded paper in the bottom. It was an insurance policy that Robert had taken out during an earlier trip to New York. It was a $100,000 policy with a double indemnity clause for accidental death.
Teddy and I were at the end of our rope, and hope as well. I know, and God does too, that Robert's love and his promise, in some miraculous way, came across from the beyond to save us.
Love is such a tie, such an important ingredient between people that it can reach across the barrier of life and death.